Hello, everyone. This is my thesis defense, and my research topic is revolutionizing ectopic pregnancy treatment by using cutting-edge nanotechnological solutions. So, a little bit about me and my research. I am Amity Ganguly, a junior attending Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology, located in Alexandria, Virginia. And I researched this topic because I aim to become a physician in the future and address critical medical challenges through our 21st century innovative technologies. Treating ectopic pregnancy is vital for improving maternal health outcomes, and I believe that nanorobotics offers a groundbreaking approach to this issue. And my interest in this project grew from observing the emotional and physical toll that reproductive health complications can have on women, especially in my life, and understanding the potential life-saving applications of nanorobotics in these situations has inspired me to explore how these technologies can provide precise, minimally invasive treatment solutions, and therefore providing a better outcome for the patient and their safety. So just an overview of what I'll be talking about. First, I'll talk about my objective of this research project, and then give you some background information and an introduction. Then I will go into my literature review and then the methods. Finally, I'll conclude with what I learned from this from my project, and then talk about my reflect on my experience. So the objective of this research is to investigate ways that ectopic pregnancy can be treated while not only preserving the reproductive organ of the mother, but also preserve the developing fetus. So I emphasize treated because there have been nanotechnological research on ectopic pregnancy before, but it has mostly been used for visualization and for basically trying to find where this ectopic pregnancy is. However, there hasn't been a solution to, or like a treatment to this complication. So for my introduction and background, first of all, ectopic pregnancy is the leading cause of maternal mortality in the first trimester of the pregnancy. And this is not a rare disease. This is not a rare condition. It affects about 2% of pregnant women, and 5 to 10% of ectopic pregnancies lead to death of the mother. And ectopic pregnancy happens when the gestational sac is located outside of the uterus, and the egg starts to develop into a fetus outside of the uterus. And this is an issue because the implanted fertilized egg will start to grow in a location that can no longer support the pressures of the developing fetus. And this poses a threat, especially to the mother, because once the fetus is implanted into a place that is not the uterus, that site can rupture and cause catastrophic internal bleeding to occur. Some risk factors of ectopic pregnancy are previous occurrences of ectopic pregnancy, past surgery on the fallopian tubes, history of pelvic inflammatory disease. And these risk factors, the reason why these are risk factors are because of fallopian scarring. And at conception, the egg will start to, on its way to the uterus, it will implant into the scar that's on the fallopian tube. So some current treatments are medication and surgery. So the medication option is called methotrexate, which is an immunosuppressant that stops the growth of rapidly dividing cells, including the trophoblastic tissue of the embryo. And it is usually used when the pregnancy is small and early, and there's no bleeding or rupture in the site. Yeah. And then the way that the methotrexate works is it is a folic acid antagonist. So this inhibits the action of folic acid, which is a molecule used in DNA synthesis and cell replication. So the methotrexate inhibits the enzyme DHFR, which is used to convert dihydrofolate to hydrofolate, and tetrahydrofolate is used in purine synthesis, which is essential in DNA replication and cell division. So what methotrexate does is it cell division and DNA replication. And then the surgery option is laparoscopic surgery. So there are two types of surgery. One preserves the fallopian tube, and the other one is the removal of the fallopian tubes. And these are both cases. These are both treatments used when the case is usually catastrophic bleeding or rupture in the fallopian tube. So why are we using nanotechnology to treat ectopic pregnancies? Well, nanorobotic solutions designed at the molecular or atomic scale can navigate through the body with high precision, and it targets the ectopic tissue directly without affecting the surrounding structures. So the organs in our body are really small, and we don't want to cause another complication when trying to solve one problem, which is what a lot of maximally invasive surgeries do. So using nanorobotics, as I briefly mentioned before, can allow for a minimally invasive treatment. And then the nanorobotic treatment could also reduce the risk of damage to reproductive organs, and this can also preserve the fertility of the mother. So in case she does want to try again, this complication won't affect her. And then advanced nanorobotic systems can be equipped with sensors and imaging abilities, which will allow for real-time monitoring of this treatment process. So I looked into some articles of using nanotechnology and biotechnology in the in humans, and Moses et al. Used near-infrared dye-loaded polymeric nanoparticles for selective targeting of tissues. And these nanoparticles offered advantages over the traditional small molecule agents, including the ability to transport various cargoes, extending blood circulation, and targeted delivery. So the study basically showed that nanoparticles can visualize disease tissues like cancer and endometriotic lesions using NIR fluorescence in mice and generate heat when exposed to NIR light. So this poses the question that we can, like if we can use nanotechnology in visualizing a disease and going to the area of the disease, can we use nanorobotics or nanotechnology to treat the disease? And that's where I was interested in this research. So in terms of literature review, I will specifically be talking about two potential materials that could be used for this for the nanorobotic treatment. But however, there were multiple materials that I'm not getting into today that can also be used. So first off is iron nanoparticles. So iron oxide nanoparticles like magnetite or mahegmite have unique magnetic properties and are biocompatible, which makes them ideal for targeted therapies. And when used as the core material in nanorobots, they can be precisely guided through the reproductive system using external magnetic fields, allowing for safe intervention and at the site of the ectopic pregnancy and without harming the surrounding tissues. So these nanoparticles can be functionalized with therapeutic agents such as cytotoxic drugs, which will be used to ensure targeted treatment and minimize the side effects that it poses to the mother. So this also goes into movement. So I did mention the iron oxide nanoparticles have magnetic properties, and this can be used for electromagnetic propulsion, which is part of movement, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. The next material that I looked into was platinum nanoparticles. So platinum nanoparticles are valued for their stability and, again, biocompatibility, which makes them suitable for long-term use in the body. So they can effectively carry and stabilize therapeutic agents, which would enhance drug delivery. But in contrast, iron nanoparticles are prized for their magnetic properties, which allow for precise targeting using magnetic fields and for their movement. While both can be functionalized for targeted therapies, platinum nanoparticles may be used in imaging due to their unique optical properties. Overall, their distinct characters dictate their specific roles in targeted treatments. So we could use both iron nanoparticles and platinum nanoparticles in the same robot as well. It's not mutually exclusive. Next, going into movement. So I looked at flagellum-like motion. So this is mostly inspired from biological systems. So a nanobot can utilize flagellum-like motion to navigate the body. Mimicking the movement of microorganisms. So this allows the nanorobot to propel itself with precision through complex systems, such as the reproductive system. By using this method, it can effectively travel to the site of the ectopic pregnancy, enabling targeted therapy or diagnostics while minimizing disruption to surrounding tissues. So the reproductive system is one of the more complex systems because there's a lot of selective pressures that are required to be considered when creating a foreign object that will be going inside the system. So the flagella will allow it to travel to this specific site very accurately as it does in microorganisms. The next form of movement I looked into was electromagnetic propulsion. So a nanorobot can use electromagnetic helical motion to navigate the body by mimicking the twisting and turning movements of a helix. So there are controlled electromagnetic fields that the nanorobot can rotate and propel itself around. And this is when the iron nanoparticles come in through the magnetic properties. And this would allow to maneuver through narrow or fluid-filled spaces with precision. So when I was looking into my research, I saw that a big limitation to using nanorobots was the Brownian motion of fluids, especially in the human body. And the electromagnetic propulsion would be a great way to solve this problem or to mitigate the complications that can arise from this issue. And because of the controlled movement, it would be ensuring that the nanorobot can effectively reach the site of the ectopic pregnancy and offer a non-invasive targeted approach for the treatment or the diagnosis. So for my methods, I conducted a literature review, and the objective, as I briefly mentioned before, was to explore ways that the ectopic pregnancy can be treated while not only preserving the reproductive organ of the mother, but also preserve the developing fetus. So a systematic search was performed using databases such as PubMed and Google Scholar. I also used the NIH platform and Science Direct, as well as other sources. And I looked for articles using keywords such as ectopic pregnancy, nanotechnology, treatment, nanorobots, and much more. And then the studies that were included were based on criteria such as the relevance and publication type. So I excluded non-English and outdated articles because I did not want to misinterpret what the article was trying to tell us. And outdated articles are not the best in providing information that could be used uh, currently. And an initial screening of titles and abstracts led to full review texts of selected studies. And then findings were synthesized thematically with limitations acknowledged, ensuring a comprehensive overview of the current research landscape. So for my conclusion, I will be showing a proposed solution based on all the research that has been done by others. So this proposed solution aims to treat ectopic pregnancy using advanced nanorobotics. Nanorobots will be designed with flagellum-like motion to navigate the reproductive system effectively, guided by external magnetic fields. So this is kind of combining the two movement systems that I talked about. This will be equipped with microneedles, and these nanobots will safely grasp and extract ectopic tissue while minimizing damage to the surrounding areas. So I included the microneedles in my proposed solution because I want to also be able to um, uh, save the life of not only the mother, but of the baby as well. So having these microneedles will allow the robot to safely pick up the tissue and extract the tissue and then implant it into the uterus. So additionally, the nanobots will incorporate chemical sensors to detect the specific biomarkers associated with ectopic pregnancy. So these are some of the hormones that happen in pregnancy, and the hormones are increased in the specific area of an ectopic pregnancy. And this will ensure accurate targeting of the affected tissue. They will also be functionalized to deliver therapeutic agents directly to the site, enhancing treatment and reducing systemic side effects to the mother. Then there will also be real-time monitoring, which will track the movements of the robot. And this approach promises a minimally invasive method for addressing ectopic pregnancies. And this will hopefully improve the patient outcome compared to the traditional surgical methods or the medication. So in terms of what I learned from this experience, so first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Lilova and Professor Virgil for this experience, and as well as the Gifted Gaber crew. So Dr. Lilova has been incredibly helpful in teaching me about nanoscience. She provided a solid foundation of knowledge and offered valuable starting points, especially with the papers to explore. And this greatly contributed to my understanding of research in the field. Additionally, I'd like to thank Professor Virgil, who was supportive in helping me edit my paper. He taught me essential writing skills, including how to effectively structure and write a research paper, which has greatly improved my academic writing skills. And then my thoughts. So the nanoscience research taught me a great deal about the research process and how to structure a comprehensive review. So I found the exploration of opportunities for innovation particularly exciting, especially since these are these newer fields and newer solutions to problems that have been happening for a long time. And then I deepened my understanding of women's health, discovering how nanotechnology can be applied in this field. And this made my research more engaging and makes it more impactful. Thank you for listening.
Excellent work, Amity. Very comprehensive. Really a pleasure to see a high school student going into some depth. I mean, it almost felt like a gynecological expert. And I want you to take further. I mean, we want to create a plan where you take your research further to experts because you have a lot to offer. And you don't think that, hey, I'm a high schooler, I have contributed nothing, right? So we want to do that. And a question from Dr. Alilova.
Yeah, great work and great idea. I like it at the very beginning. So the nanobot you designed, so your idea about nanobot, do you think it can be used maybe with some modifications for to treat other conditions, maybe reproductive system conditions or other systems in the body?
Yeah, definitely. So, I kind of have a baseline, like my solution is very much a baseline, and this could definitely be used in other complications, not only for the reproductive system, but for like the digestive system or like cardiovascular problems. So, the flagellum-like motion I used was very biologically inspired by what happens in the reproductive system, but definitely there are other biological processes that happen that could be used. So another one that I was looking into that I didn't mention was the motor protein kinase. Like the
Yeah,
walking video really inspired me.
walking one, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that that could be used in different complications as well.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings the conclusion to our program. A big round of applause to each and every one of you.